Most families don't think about driving as a problem unless something scary happens. Let me tell you about Carol, a retired school teacher from Pleasanton. Carol was 78, sharp as ever, proud of her independence, and deeply attached to her car. Driving meant freedom. It meant grocery trips, lunches with friends, and feeling like herself. Her daughter Megan had noticed little things for months. A dent on the bumper Carol couldn't explain, getting lost on routes she'd driven for years. One day, Megan followed her home and realized Carol had driven 5 miles under the speed limit the entire way, gripping the steering wheel like it was a lifeline. But Megan didn't say anything. She didn't want to hurt her mom. Then one afternoon, Carol ran a red light. No one was hurt, thank God. But that moment changed everything. That's what today's episode is about. When it might be time for your parent to stop driving, how to spot the signs early, and what to say without destroying the relationship. Hi, I'm Dale Corpus, a senior transition specialist and real estate expert based in the San Francisco Bay Area. I'm also part of the sandwich generation, balancing my own family while helping aging parents navigate big life changes. This episode is part of Sandwich Generation Solutions, powered by the Simplify Senior Transitions podcast, where we talk about the things families don't get warned about, but desperately need to understand. Today, we're tackling one of the hardest conversations families face. Should your parent stop driving? Let's dive in. So let's talk about why this conversation is so hard. Driving isn't just transportation. For many seniors, it represents independence, identity, control, and dignity. So when we talk about taking away the car keys, what they often hear is, you're old, you're incapable, you're a burden. That's why families avoid the conversation until a crisis forces it. But waiting too long can put your parents, other drivers, and you at risk legally and emotionally. Let's talk about the subtle warning signs families miss. Most seniors don't just wake up one day unsafe to drive. It's usually a gradual decline. Here are early red flags I see all the time in Bay Area families. New dents or scrapes on the car, getting lost on familiar routes, driving much slower or much faster than traffic, difficulty judging turns or lane changes, confusing the gas and brake pedals, increased anxiety while driving, friends quietly refusing rides, tickets or warnings from police, trouble seeing at night or in glare, delayed reaction times. And one of the biggest signs, you feel nervous riding with them. Trust that instinct. Moving on to medical and cognitive factors that matter. Certain conditions significantly increase driving risk, including dementia or mild cognitive impairment, stroke or TIA, Parkinson's disease, vision loss, especially peripheral vision, neuropathy affecting foot control, medication side effects, sleepiness, dizziness, confusion. Many seniors don't connect these changes to driving safety, but doctors do. If you are unsure, ask the primary care physician, do you have concerns about my parent continuing to drive? That question alone can open up the door. Here's the hard truth. Most families wait too long. I've worked with families in Walnut Creek, San Jose, and San Mateo who didn't act until a serious accident, a call from the police, a hospital admission, insurance cancellation. At that point, the conversation becomes reactive and emotional instead of calm and respectful. The goal is to transition before a crisis, not after. Let's talk about language, because this is where things often go wrong. Avoid phrases like, you're not safe anymore, you're going to hurt someone, you're too old to drive, and we're taking away your keys. Even if true, these statements trigger fear, shame, and resistance. Here are gentler, more effective ways to start the conversation. I've noticed driving seems more stressful for you lately. How does it feel to you? I want to make sure you stay safe and keep your independence as long as possible. What would make getting around easier if you didn't have to drive as much? Let's talk about options, not decisions, just options. Notice a theme? You're inviting, not forcing. One of the reasons seniors resist giving up driving is fear of isolation. So don't take something away without offering alternatives. In the Bay Area, options often include senior transportation programs, ride services like Lyft Concierge or GoGo Grandparent, community shuttles at senior living communities, adult day programs, family ride schedules, grocery and prescription delivery. When mobility is supported, independence can actually increase. Let me give you a real life example. I worked with a family in San Ramon whose dad refused to stop driving after a minor accident. Instead of fighting him, we reframed the conversation. They agreed. No night driving, no freeway driving, no driving during heavy traffic. Over time, he realized the restrictions made driving more stressful than helpful. When he finally stopped driving altogether, it felt like his decision, not something taken from him. That made all the difference. Sometimes families need backup, and that's okay. This might include a doctor recommending driving cessation, a professional driving evaluation, a care manager facilitating the conversation. You don't have to be the bad guy. Now, here's what I want you to remember from this episode. Driving is emotional, not just practical. Watch for early warning signs. Start the conversation before a crisis. Use respectful, collaborative language. Replace driving with connection and mobility. Get help if needed. This conversation isn't about taking something away. It's about protecting your parents' safety and dignity. This has been another episode of Sandwich Generation Solutions, powered by the Simplify Senior Transitions podcast. And for those of you watching, if your loved one is considering senior living or you're trying to figure out what to do with their home, let's talk. Schedule a free consultation with me and learn more about my services at www.simplifyseniortransitions.com. Have a quick question? You could DM me anytime on Instagram at SoulByDale. If this episode helped, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear this, because chances are they do. I'm Dale Corpus, and I'll see you on the next episode.